Oh, yeah. She's like, love all the kids, like, have some favorites, and some understand favorites. She's one of my favorites. She's funny, she's smart. She's showing me her baby or whatever. It's nice science now. I don't know the backstory, but I
Is it? Oh, I just passed? It's got like a 5-second delay? Yeah.
Hello. There we go. Good evening, everyone. I'll invite folks who have not yet taken a seat to come on in and join us. If you wanted to, in that journey, or maybe want to sneak out, body and grab something, sitting here and join, please feel free to do that as well. I've got a number of pages and papers up here, so apologies to anybody that I might mess up what you were expecting to come find when you get up here. I want to begin with just a few logistics, which I think people, it's lovely to see smiley faces that have been in our space, our immersive education space before, and those welcome who it's your first time to be here with us. Just wanted to say a few logistic type things. So the washrooms will be out this door, and don't go right out the main door, just turn left, and the washrooms are in that hallway there for you. If there is an emergency, do go out that main door, and we muster across by the church, which I feel has good energy for security. Yes, as I said, so we have our refreshments around, so please feel free to enjoy them. Other logistics pieces before, I'm just holding the mystery of who I am, by the way. We have our report to the community booklet version here, which we didn't produce like enough for everyone because we wanted to have it around so folks could see some of the content around representations in terms of stories of pictures. It does not, we have technical challenges, so it does not have every kind of paragraphing and wording and things the way they want. So we are going to produce that final book and make that available to people. But we wanted you to have this kind of down, give a look at. So hopefully it's laid out enough that you can share with a neighbor if they're curious to see some of those pieces. And so there's an opportunity to sign up with your name and mailing address if you'd like us to mail you one or a few of the file books. And they're also going to be available, as they are now, through a QR code scan, and some of those are around to pick up the book as well, and into the future for the final version. So I think that is it in terms of that type. We just put that over here. And so let me go into what people have helped us develop in terms of the flow for the program this evening. So officially, my name is Sylvia Harris-Drummond, pronouns are she, her, and I'm very honored to be part of the distributed leadership team that we have here in terms of the staff team, and also a collaborative approach in terms of our board, and my title role here as CEO. So good evening, everyone. Thank you very much. I want to acknowledge that we have elders in the room, and so we acknowledge their presence, and grateful that these folks are here with us today. I want to acknowledge Councillor Virginia Hinch, who is here with us this evening as well. And it always feels like the right community way to say, yay! We have our board members, and the board members are able to be here as well. I see a lot of our community partners in the audience, and so we're very grateful again in terms of acknowledging this messaging about how we learn and grow with elders. And when we have that phrase of talking about how we stand on the shoulders of those who come before us, this validates that with your presence here. So thank you very much. We know that having leadership is a collective way of being, as I've acknowledged the way we try to work here, and acknowledge that in terms of formal ways as well with folks who have stood fast in the journey, I'd say, to kind of get us through this way. So again, it's welcome. So now I want to kick off our report program by having us go into the next part. So yeah, that's right, I'm stalling to find my place. There we go. Thank you all for joining us, whether here in person or online. And I do want to acknowledge that we have live stream happening, and I'll try to be conscious of that as well, and recognizing the value of those folks. Everybody's before the program, I would like to invite up Kay-Ann Scott, our manager research. Kay-Ann.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
We're gathered today because the ancestral and unsurrendered land of the Mi'kmaq people who have been here for the past 13,000 years. The territory on which we stand is covered by the treaties of peace and friendship signed with the British Crown in 1726, well before Canada's existence. The treaties recognize the Mi'kmaq's title to land and resources and lay out the conditions for a relationship between nations, both settlers and indigenous peoples. These relationships and treaties are not always maintained, and indigenous resistance in response to dishonor and disrespect should be expected. We also acknowledge another group of people whose existence on these lands predates the formation of Confederate Canada, African Nova Scotians. With over 400 years of history in the region, African Nova Scotian ancestors included the Black Loyalists, Black Pioneers, the Black Refugees, and the Jamaican Maroons. I'm Jamaican, with more than 70% of my ancestral DNA tracing back to West Africa. Like many across the Caribbean and the African diaspora, my lineage carries stories that connect me to Africa and to the enduring struggles, resilience, and contributions of African Nova Scotians. Here in Mi'kmaq, I also recognize that our communities are connected to relationships with indigenous peoples and our shared commitments to justice, remembrance, and collective flourishing. Both the forced displacement and free migrations of African peoples have created a deeply rich and unique Black culture and heritage. The birthplace of Black history in this country is right here in Nova Scotia. As we all know, African Nova Scotians and indigenous peoples share a complex history of land dispossession. Our communities have both experienced forced relocation and confinement to unsuitable areas. This reality has created an interconnected struggle for land rights, respect for natural resources, and land rights recognition that continues to shape our efforts for justice and reparations. Land back is not long overdue. Lastly, we would like to acknowledge the other roots, histories, and wisdom that endure within each of us here today. May we always honor the dreams and legacies of our roots by moving forward in a good way. Thank you.
Thank you, Kay-Ann. We're excited that we are all gathering this evening. Thank you for making the time and welcome to DBDLI once again. It is a pleasure to welcome you to our annual report to the community event. Over the next hour and a half, we will experience music, gather inspirations, offer awards, share stories, and celebrate our collective successes over the year. We also look forward to hearing from you this evening during our talking circles. So we saw this as an opportunity to gather and to share and to hear, to get your first person voice engagement. We hope it will be open and enriching opportunity for all of us to share ideas and build relationships. Our mission at Delmore Daye Learning Institute is to engage and empower learners of African descent to improve their educational experiences and opportunities. This video provides some more of the background on our organization and mission.
The Delmore Daye Learning Institute is focused on community engagement, working with youth. We also have the added value of providing published resources, and those are used in the public school system. And that process is really important because that's when voices are sent.
Here at DBDLI, all of our work is focused through our youth workshops, through publishing, through research, even through holding this public space here for the community. Our research and youth department are dedicated to better understand the educational challenges that our Black learners face here in Nova Scotia. We meet those challenges through community engagement, resources, youth programming, and research projects. A great example of our community engagement is our annual African Nova Scotian History Challenges. Students from across the province submit projects focused on African Nova Scotian leaders, activists, and communities.
The real niche piece for us is participatory action research. We are about community voice, and setting ways for it to be heard and to have impact. The Delmore Daye Learning Institute is named after a well-known, well-respected African Nova Scotian community leader, Mr. Delmore Daye. He would like to be known for his commitment to youth and youth leadership and his participation in the community as a community leader, advocate, and activist. The approach that Mr. Daye took, centering community voice and being participatory, present in the community, is what we try to model here to the Institute. And we're honored that we can carry his name forward.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
My name is Nancy McDonald. I'm the manager of youth programming and engagement here at DBDLI. It's a pleasure to be here with you this evening. We can't dive deeper into our program without some music and local talent. I have the pleasure of introducing our performer for this evening, and let me tell you, he is a force and an inspiration. Josh Williams is proudly from East Preston, Nova Scotia. He is a member of East Preston United Baptist Church, where his singing began as a child. Using his gifts Joshua hopes to inspire young people to step out of their comfort zones and embrace their unique identity. Joshua is a recent ANSMA Award winner, and above all, he is recognized as a young man of God, blessed to be a blessing. Now, if you're able, I would like to invite you all to rise as Josh joins us to sing the Black National Anthem.
Lift every voice and sing, till earth and heaven ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the lifting skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun of our new day begun. Let us march on till victory is won. God of our weary years, God of our silent tears, thou who hast brought us thus far on thy way, thou who hast thy mind, let us into the light. Keep us forever in thy hand, we pray. Oh, lest our feet stray from the places our God will be. Lest our hearts, drunk with the wine of the world, we forget thee. Shadow beneath thy hand, may we forever stand, true to our God, true to our native
We have done all that we can do, and we need to pass the baton on to someone else. And so I look at the faces in here, and I see opportunities. We all have these visions for our communities. The DBDLI is just one of those places that is working towards building capacity and in terms of education in the African Nova Scotian communities. Well, every one of us has that vision and goal to see growth happen within the community. I reflect on my time as chair, now I have to go to my notes. And I'm most proud of the relationships that I've built within the community. And I think it's important to look back at the times I've traveled to Bridgetown to go to one of their meetings, and I show up and they say, "You traveled all the way from Halifax?" Many of our folks just join online. And I found it, I know it's okay for that. But when we have things in Halifax, they travel here. Right. And so I think it's important that, those relationships that we can build, that we continue to build. And I know, I can confess that it's not easy sometimes having to juggle family, work, and volunteering on a board. It's difficult, but the legacy that we leave, the seeds that we plant, will grow at some point. Someone else in the community will talk about what the DBDLI has done for them. And lastly, one of the seeds, we just recently had our conference, and someone contacted me and said, "I want to come to the Mount." I attended the DBDLI's conference and I learned a lot about the Mount. I'd like to join the university. So we are impacting people from near and far. And, I want to acknowledge board members who are present here today. If you might just stand so people will see you. And they have, come on, board members. Yeah, if they didn't stand on page 30 or 31, their names are there. And they're also online. But, it's oftentimes you don't want to take the acknowledgement. People ask about what have you done in the community? And, we've swept the church, we've helped with the child care and all that, and we're like, that's nothing, right? It means a lot. The things that the time and the hours that you've put in have done, it's significant to the people around us. And if you hadn't done it, might not have gotten that. Yeah, you would probably say someone else would have done it. But if no one has done it, then it would be there and untouched. So I extend a heartfelt thanks to all of you for participating. Lastly, I was told by the woman outside that there's books for sale, and she wants to make sure that you know that, so please stop and buy books. So thank you.
Go that way, right?
No.
Okay, so we're gonna change up this. So we want you to be able to enjoy and feel well moving, and thanks for identifying that very nature. But, not everybody's like me that wants to walk up and be seen. Right, so take care of that. But thank you, and thank you for asking the board members to stand. It's a nice cue for me. I would also like, before I go into, I'm going to read my CEO report. I would like to share that amongst themselves, see that. And this year reflected both continuity and growth. We continue to center African Nova Scotian and Black histories, lived experiences, and ways of knowing, while expanding our work through research, public engagement, learning resources, partnerships, and improvements to our physical space. I don't know if folks notice when
Need more improvement.
This might be my by the way, we're always fundraising. but I stand for 10,000, right? So I did get the message. Always acknowledge where you come from. So a major highlight was our Afrocentric Education Symposium, From Reflection to Action, Ubuntu-Centered Perspectives in Education. This free hybrid gathering brought together community members across Nova Scotia and university partners from South Africa. The symposium, that was in September, reinforced DBDLI's growing role as a provincial leader, a convener of Pan-African dialogue in education. It helped shape clear calls to action, that's also going to be in the program book, you'll see, embedding Afrocentric pedagogy across systems, strengthening educator pathways, advancing accountability and data justice, deepening intergenerational knowledge, and building global solidarity. And those were connected with our understanding of the Black Learners Advisory Committee report. We also strengthened our research and knowledge mobilization work through release of the culturally affirming mentor development resource, which will show up more deeply in the research department's report, Afrocentric recognition for prior learning framework. Both resources help move lived experiences, cultural grounding, mentorship, and community knowledge from the margins towards meaningful practice. Our commitment to learners remained visible through the 2026 Scholarship Guide, the 20th anniversary of the African Nova Scotian History Challenges, the 20th anniversary, and our staff team holding that up, helped grow that and lead it. We're online, so we have technical presence, we had, and you'll see that in the Afrocentric Learning Report, more details on that as well. And the second anniversary of Lead to Achieve, one of our local community engagement projects. The public engagement initiatives such as our videos, our voices, Unpacking Hate from Awareness to Action, and Unstoppable, a Black Women's Empowerment event. We also created space for community voice, healing, leadership, and action. We were also thrilled that this year we realized a number of exciting publishing initiatives, including, and I'm looking now straight at her, but she's looking down and reading it, a memoir from Melinda Daye on her father's life and legacy. If you maybe would like to stand and acknowledge other Daye family members who were able to be here with us this evening.
Thank you very much. I want to take this time to especially appreciate, as I sit here and reflect on DBDLI, I can't help but reflect on the Black Report. I can't help but reflect on the many years that we put into this and all that we endeavor to do is come forward. And when I look at you all, especially you young people, you're a little younger than me. So I especially am glad to see the young people come forward like this. It really is good to see you all and stepping into the positions that you have. I would be amiss if I didn't say I love this guy. So I'm Bob Rose. You know, look at him I mean, we go way back. No, you don't like, he knows this. Black Educators Association. But tonight I'm really thrilled as well to have my brothers and sisters with me, my cousins with me. I have my sister Denise is here. Let me know, I might be the first, but she's second in command. My brother Gil, you know, he's a board member, so you guys know Gil. Gil. My cousin Sharon is here. And my cousin Johnson is here as well. The others are not here because they're across the street over there in the New Church where there's choir practice tonight because there's a concert tomorrow night. Saturday night, so yes, they're rehearsing. Thanks very much, Sylvia. And may God continue to richly bless you in leading this organization through like you do. Thank you very much, Van. Your words and your comments tonight were deeply touching You said a lot in them, and you challenged us, and you told us where you were, where you are, and where you're about to go. Thank you very much for that.
Thank you so much. And so now I would like to invite Josh for another piece of entertainment for us. Thank you.
Some of you may have heard me sing this before, so feel free to sing along. Blessed assurance, Jesus is mine. He's been my fourth man in the fire, time after time. Born of His Spirit and washed in His blood. And what He did for me on Calvary is more than enough. So I trust in God, my Savior, the one who will never fail. He will never fail. I trust in God, my Savior, the one who will never fail. He will never fail. Perfect submission, all is at rest. For I know the author of tomorrow is ordered my steps. So this is my story, and this is my song, praising my risen King and Savior all the day long. I trust in God, my Savior, the one who will never fail. He will never fail. I trust in God, my Savior, the one who will never fail. He will never fail. I sought the Lord, and He heard, and He answered. I sought the Lord, and He heard, and He answered. I sought the Lord, and He heard, and He answered. That's why I trust Him. That's why I trust Him. I sought the Lord, and He heard, and He answered. I sought the Lord, and He heard, and He answered. I sought the Lord, and He heard, and He answered. That's why I trust Him. Come on, say, I sought the Lord. I sought the Lord, and He heard, and He answered. I sought the Lord, and He heard, and He answered. I sought the Lord, and He heard, and He answered. That's why I trust my Savior, the one who will never fail. He will never fail. Come on, we can do that again. I sought the Lord. Can that be someone's testimony this evening? Come on, sing with me. Say, I sought the Lord. Say, I sought the Lord, and He heard, and He answered. I sought the Lord, and He heard, and He answered. I sought the Lord, and He heard, and He answered. That's why I trust Him. That's why I trust Him. I sought the Lord, and He heard, and He answered. I sought the Lord, and He heard, and He answered. I sought the Lord, and He heard, and He answered. That's why I trust Him. That's why I trust in God. My Savior, the one who will never fail. He will never fail. I trust in God. My Savior, the one who will never fail. He will never fail.
When I landed on July 28, 2001, the pandemic, I came across the McDonald Bridge and passed right by Africa after 14 days of quarantine. I knew there were roots, and I'll be forever grateful for the opportunity to give my DBDLI and to grow in the purpose. But I do want to share this evening about someone who has pretty much deeper roots than I do. 9th generation, 27 years of leadership, commitment, and stalwart education practice within Nova Scotia. So again, it's a pleasure and a privilege to be here with you all as we reflect on the past year, lean into learnings, and seek fellowship in community. To begin the introduction of our guest speaker, I want to share a quote which beautifully captures Afrocentric learning and community building as practices of determination, self-determination, resilience, and hope. The quote is located within the book, The Horizon Afrocentricity in Action. And I quote, "In my view, African people in the diaspora are always active participants in our struggle for freedom, justice, and equality in all respects of living. Our spirit is one of resistance, seeking reform, and ready for revolution. We have nothing to lose but the chains." Several words were attributed to our very own featured speaker for this. 27 years of experience as a public school educator, counselor, and advocate, Malik Adams has spent nearly 3 decades advancing equity in education across Nova Scotia. He currently serves as a school counselor at Citadel High School in Halifax, where he supports the Afrocentric Math Cohort Program and related student success initiatives. As a leader in education, Malik has contributed to curriculum development, provincial education frameworks, and the mentorship of teachers and pre-service educators. His work has helped shape courses such as African Heritage Literature 12 and African Canadian Studies 11, while advancing culturally responsive teaching and Afrocentric educational practice across Nova Scotia. Recently, Malik served as a facilitator for the DBDLI second Culturally Affirming Mentor Development Series, preparing 8 university mentors who will work alongside 15 African Black Nova Scotian high school students through a partnership with Dalhousie University and the Cheers for Inclusion in Science and Engineering Atlantic. We want to honor Dana, who's just waving right there, who's from Dalhousie, so thank you for partnering with us. Thanks again, Malik. Beyond the classroom, Malik's leadership extends into advocacy, labor advocacy, anti-racism, and community engagement. He holds a graduate and undergraduate degrees in education, council curriculum, and history from Acadia University, Mount St. Vincent University, and University of King's College. These accomplishments speak to a remarkable career. More importantly, they reflect a life devoted to service. So today, as we honor both the work and the person behind it, please rise in your energy. Bring your applause. And join me in welcoming Malik.
Thanks, everyone. I'm going to hit my timer up here. You're a time-conscious person. When you're working in the school, everything's by a bell, so you got to that's just how it rolls. Bell, you got to operate on the bell, so that's how it rolls. So I said this time here, and we're good. I wish actually some of the people out there were in here. So what? Only because I know a lot of them and they're beautiful people, but we'll catch up anyway. I'm grateful for being asked to come and be a guest speaker tonight. And when I was asked, the first thing that obviously I thought about is what I was going to say. And it didn't actually take me long to figure out what I was going to talk about for these few minutes tonight. Because the reason why we're here is the title Report to the Community. Both the ancestors come to the phone. We'll see what comes out of this. It all depends on what comes out of this. And my mind went to, so it's called Report to the Community. And so it has to be about community. There's no other talk to have tonight. It is not related to community. And I'm not talking to the content of DLI, so I'm going to go through that. But when we talk about community, and Sister, Melinda Daye, she knows I have a lot of love for her. One of my mentors, Principal Daye, I'm always going to call you Principal Daye, with the uniforms at Joe Howe. That's right, uniforms. That's right. Right, with the uniforms at Joe Howe. And one of the reasons, other than being, one of the namesakes of Mr. Delmore, Buddy Daye, as an educator and as a role model and mentor, every time that I run into Miss Melinda, it doesn't matter what the circumstance is, the conversation always comes back around the community. Always, always, always. And one of the reasons when I came in earlier this evening, and I was so happy, it was actually one of the first people I saw was Miss Melinda, and I went up to her, we always joke and tease each other, and I said, I'm so happy you're here. I was thinking about you, and it's true. She was one of the first people I thought about when I was asked to do this, not because, Mr. Daye's daughter, one of Mr. Daye's daughters, but because in our conversations, and I don't know if you remember this, but one of the things that we always say is, we don't play around with the word community. We don't play with it. We don't use it lightly. So it's a beautiful thing when you have an opportunity to present a report to the community. Report to the community can mean different things to different people. But one of the things I want to help us frame tonight is the concept of, and I know that people in this room can relate to this. One of the things I loved about what he did is he sang the whole anthem.
Yes.
I've been in events where we sing a third,
Yeah.
and I thought tonight he was going to sing a third. And then when he went on to the second part, I was like, oh, we in for the long version. And then I was like, we should be doing the long version. I don't know any anthems that we cut short. Why do we have to cut our shit? Right. This is DBDLI, right? This is Afrocentricity. Why would we cut the Black National Anthem short? So other than the brother has a beautiful voice, I love the fact that he did the whole anthem. Another thing before we get, and I only got like 3 slides. This is not heavy. I just want to really get into and focus the idea of community. And not to suggest that people don't understand what it is, but I know that there's a value that we can always and should always frame what community means. I work today, my day job as a school counselor, Citadel High, went to the gym, have to burn off some steam. Wanted to come with a little pump too, so that's. And I'm walking up the street, and this is, I'm not making this story up. This is what happens. I walk up the street, I'm downtown. I run into a former student. She graduated a couple years ago, beautiful sister. I think her family's from Bermuda. She's in her second year doing health sciences. You know, like, what's up, honey? How are you doing? How's school? You taking summer classes? What's going on? You know, you're catching up, you're hugging, you do what we do, right? You know, teaser, I heard you got a boyfriend. I heard you going over with my nephew, actually. I go to say her name, so already. Yeah. So anyway, we laugh and joke about that. She's like, I'm doing a class, and I was like, listen, I'm proud of you. Sky's the limit for you. Do your thing. This is almost at the end of Brunswick, or as we're getting close to Northern Ireland. She leaves and goes on where she's going. And then I'm telling you, 30 seconds later, a brother comes. Now, I was just talking with this young sister who's probably 20, 21, she's only 2 years of high, she's probably 20. University, health sciences, that whole thing. The brother comes. This brother is, I think, either my age or older than me. I know the brother in the community, but honestly, I got to know him because I do some programming in correctional facilities. Correctional Services Canada, so federal institutions. So I'm fortunate, and I'm so happy that I'm able to do work with brothers who are in prison. And that's where I got to know this brother. And the beautiful thing is I saw him out on the street, so he's been up. And I come down the street, and then I'm coming up on my way here, and it just hit me. Young sister, going to university, older brother that I know, did time in prison, obviously he's owed service time, he's trying to do his thing. He was funny, right? You know, we can be funny people sometimes. He was on his phone, and he sees me coming, and he's like, I got you. Like, he ain't getting off the phone. He ain't getting off the phone, so he's basically letting me know, I'll give you a quick tap, and I'll give you a hug, I love you, bro, but this is business. I was like, I got you, bro, it's all love, like. And what I thought about is, you know the difference between that young lady and that brother? Ostensibly nothing. There is no difference in those two people. You know why? Because they're both community. They're both community. One's male, one's female, one's younger, one's older, one's doing university, one's working, one, you know, I'm assuming graduated, didn't do any time. That brother did. They're all community. We don't separate. And I'm talking from an Afrocentric point of view. I'm going to talk about Afrocentricity. Sister came in when the drumming was going on, and she said, I should be coming and do my Zulu dance. I said, you absolutely should come in and do your Zulu dance. Why would we not do our Zulu dance? It's our culture. You guys hear me? Is this mic on? Are you all right? Okay, let me check. You know, sometimes we've been conditioned. I'll just leave it at that. We've been conditioned sometimes, and a lot of times and it's not through any fault of our own, but we forget the richness and the beauty of our culture. I'm not saying that because that's on a Hallmark card. I'm saying this is a part of who we are and how we move and how we grow and how we evolve. And if Miss Kay Ann, who was introducing me, and she said on my mother's side, I'm a 9th generation African Nova Scotian, that doesn't make me or anybody else better than anybody else. But what it does mean is this. One of the ways in which we got here and being here for 9 generations, there's a certain strength, there's a certain resilience, there's a certain intelligence, there's a certain toughness, there's a certain et cetera, that we have. And especially in the geographical and the historical location of where we are in Nova Scotia, as a numerical minority, you can't survive here without being strong. If you think about it, if you know your history and what happened, to be here 1, 2 generations, let alone 9 or 10 or even longer, you can't have that history without having a certain something that is actually beyond measure, right? We often talk about God and spirituality. There's some things that are just not tangible. So now, let's get to none of what I just said was planned. But it was spontaneous because this is what happened when I ran into that sister. It's all community. We don't play around with the community. And here's what I'll say about the report to the community. As people of African ancestry, in the diaspora, African Nova Scotians, Black people, you can use whatever term you want, that's fine. When we hear report to the community, it's a gift to be able to give a report to the community. Because for other people, they may just hear those 4 words. Okay, it's a physical report and we're going to say what we did. For Black people, a report to the community is always a report of the community. It's always a report for the community. And it's always a report by the community. So we see it in different levels. And it's important that we have that because that helps to guide our work, right? One of the things, if you can see, if you're looking at one of the slides that I have here, is the standard of Afrocentric governance. Now, Afrocentricity is broad. It is immeasurable. There's not 1 or 2 things that make you Afrocentric. There's all kinds of ways of movement. There's all kinds of ways of knowing and being our worldviews. But when we talk about the standard of Afrocentric governance, I want to make it simple for people. And I tried to make it simple on this slide. I don't want to move too much because I know that camera's here. We're live streaming, so good. Think about this. Think about the images and the interests of people of African ancestry. Think about the value system rooted in African culture, and that's broad. And then if you see the bottom, thanks, brother. See, that's community right there. Somebody gets up and helps. That's what we're talking about. The simple question. And this really should always guide our work. And the people, and there's many people in our community. When I say community, I mean it in the broadest sense. I mean geographical community. I mean the broader African diaspora community. I mean physical communities. I mean the academic community. I mean the work community. I mean the political community. I mean community. That question, if we are, as my cousin always says, if we are who we say we are.
Yeah.
If we are who we say we are.
I said that.
That's the question that should always guide our work.
Here you go.
Is what we're doing good for African peoples? All the ancestors taught something, fell over there. That shook some people. Is it good for African peoples? That doesn't mean that we are flawless. That doesn't mean that we don't make mistakes. The longer that you do work, I don't care if it's your employed work or if it's volunteer or any type of work you do in the community, you know that it comes with some challenges. You're going to make mistakes. We all make mistakes. I'm the most flawed person in this room right now. I'm the most flawed person. You can't try to do good work without making mistakes and errors. So it's not about being perfect. But that fundamental question, I don't care if you're a social worker, I don't care if you're a teacher, I don't care if you're a doctor, I don't care if you're a politician, I don't care. It doesn't matter what you do or who you are. That fundamental question, right?
Yeah.
Sylvia may be the CEO, but it's not Sylvia's job to do the work. Sylvia engages us to do all the work that we have to do. That's what Afrocentricity is. Am I making sense?
Yeah.
Am I good?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I'm good for time too. So 15 minutes left. Let me move over here. That live stream's just gonna have to pause. Thank you. Now, if you look at the top says, and if you don't understand that, whoa, see, ancestors. See, somebody doesn't want me to say what I'm going to say, but one of my ancestors said, oh, you're going to say it. If you look at the top, and this screen will come on, for the people over here who can't see, I'll say this. The top line says Afrocentricity does not equal EDI. So now, before people start getting tight and your shoulders go up, relax. This is not anything bad or negative towards EDI. When I say EDI, for those of you that don't understand, Brother Randy was talking about too many acronyms when I came on. Yeah, we got a lot of acronyms. It takes a while to get used to. EDI, and sometimes it, the US normally they reverse the letters DEI, right? Equity, diversity, and inclusion. Equity, diversity, inclusion is a beautiful thing. And we can't do the work that we do in our communities without considering those things in terms of equity, diversity, and inclusion, And that becomes part of our language because that's been around for a while. There's also value in understanding that it's not exactly the same as Afrocentricity. Doesn't mean that it's better, doesn't mean that it's worse, but what it means is it's not exactly the same thing. So I come back to the beginning when I was talking about the conversations that we addressed when I talked to Principal Daye over there, that we don't play with certain words. Community's one, and Afrocentricity is another one. All language becomes cliche. You know what I mean when I say that? All language becomes cliche. Cliche means that it gets used so much to the point overused that it loses its power. That happens to all language and all people. But we always have to remember to make sure that our language is used for us and it doesn't become cliche. We've all, put your hand up if you've ever experienced something where they were calling it Afrocentric and you went in there and said, there ain't nothing Afrocentric about what they just said was Afrocentric. Y'all don't want to put your hand up, I'll put my hand up. Right? Again, and this doesn't make it bad because we said people make errors, but we always have to continue to have these conversations that guide our work in terms of what it is. So, equity, diversity, inclusion, those things are beautiful. Nothing against it. Not exactly one and the same as Afrocentricity. So if you look at the 3 bullet points, legitimizes African knowledge. And when we talk about African knowledge is super broad. It's super broad. So one of the reasons that I said earlier for the sister, come in and do your Zulu dance, right? Because we don't have to delegitimize who we are and what we know. We understand where we're at. We understand where we are geographically and where we are politically and where we are historically. But we also have to remember that one of the fundamental principles of Afrocentricity keeps us grounded as a people. Right? I mean, I think about this all the time as I look at, Brother Irv Gotti, I always call him Irv Gotti. I think of, like we say Africville, and I'm just like, what type of people who were so advanced in a time where we were conditioned not to want to be from Africa and call ourselves African, to call a place Africville. Yo, is the microphone on? Did you hear what I just said? Did you hear? Clearly you did not hear what I just said. What type of people would have the roots and the grounding and the foresight to say, we are calling our community Africville? What type of people have the strength and the thought and the knowledge and the foresight and the roots, even when we were taken from our homeland, to say we are going to talk about our churches, and our churches are everything to us, especially at that time. And in our Black communities, we are going to call the conglomerate the AUBA, which stands for the African United Baptist Association. Is the microphone on? Y'all say Afrocentricity, and now I'm saying African, and people are being quiet. You understand how we get socialized? You understand how we get socialized? Don't worry, nervous people. I only got 10 minutes left. We got 10 minutes left. Y'all can let your shoulders down. Woo. After that, I didn't know what the lady was going to say. We got to legitimize African knowledge. Promoting productive community and cultural practice. This may be, to me, one of the most critical things. That last one, is this screen on? Yes, it is, fine. Reinforces community ties and emphasizes service. Again, we always have to ground things in who we are and what we are. I'm staying with an Afrocentric lens. And when we use, it's not just one, but when we use an Afrocentric lens, and we talk about reinforcing community ties and emphasizing service, we gotta mean it. We really have to mean it. And let me go a little step further. Not bad, don't get nervous, just a step further, a little bit deeper. Service from an Afrocentric lens is a huge part of leadership. You understand what I'm saying? So in other words, let me put it more simply.
Yeah.
To be a leader means you're committed to service. See, and I'll use this to make a point in terms of binary. In a Eurocentric worldview, they equate leadership with spokespersonship.
Okay.
Sit with that for a second.
Yeah.
They equate leadership with spokespersonship. In other words, the person who is talking at you is the leader. No, that person is just the spokesperson. You understand?
Yeah.
That doesn't mean that the spokesperson doesn't have value. We always have spokespeople. We always have spokespeople. They're not necessarily the leader. I'm cool with the spokesperson, but I'm looking past the spokesperson and I want to see what work is happening on the ground. So if you heard, put your hand up and don't lie. If you've heard the phrase servant leadership, put your hand up. Everybody should know that phrase. Google it, do whatever you want to do, servant leadership. You can't talk about any element of Afrocentricity without talking about servant leadership, because that's true leadership, right? And people are leaders in different ways. Service looks differently to different people, and we need everything. So it's not just one element of service that's over another. But that's what leadership is. It's servant leadership, doing the work. And so the beauty of this evening, and when we talk about a report to the community at the Delmore Daye Learning Institute, we know fundamentally that it is rooted in these things because it has to be. And that's a great thing. Don't get quiet. Hey, don't get quiet on me now. Okay, when Linda Daye says she's taking it in, we'll take it in a little louder. All right. This is, I told you I only had 3 slides, and this is the last one. No, that's not the one I want. That's not the one I want. That's the one I want. Again, nothing against EDI. We could use both. We just have to understand the difference. Because a lot of times, equity could look like, you checked off the equity box. That don't help nobody in the community. Right? Diversity, same thing. Inclusion, same thing. That doesn't mean that everybody who's involved in EDI or DEI does those things. I'm making a point to use an extreme example, but we can all relate to that example. We can all relate to that example on different levels. And this is not, it's not just an African thing. It's you can do that across race and gender and sexuality and class and on and on and on. So you can check off boxes that serve a certain purpose when you're doing EDI. But when you are truly Afrocentric, we don't let you get away with it. We don't let you get away with it, right? Because it's rooted in what? It's rooted in servant leadership. It's rooted in what? It's rooted in community. It's rooted in what? It's rooted in cultural practice. It's rooted in what? It's rooted in cultural knowledge. It's rooted in what? It's rooted in history and politics and how we're able to be in Mi'kma'ki, in Turtle Island, and survive when we were put here to die, and we're still here doing the best we can and trying to survive and thrive. And you know, one of the things, and some other educators, some other Black educators, we talk about this. If you ever see me in the school, I walk around the school like I own it. And you know what I walk around like? People my age and older will get this. George Jefferson. That's how I walk around the school, right? Okay. I'm talking to people on the spot. We're talking to elders earlier. People look around the room and look. I was like, I do that on purpose. Not because of ego, not because of pride, but one of the things I want to model for the 15 to 18% of Black students who are at Citadel High is you don't have to walk with your head down. You don't have to change your language. You don't have to dress a certain way. You don't have to you don't have to bow down to nobody. Now, you got to be careful about how you do things, right? That does, just because we have that doesn't mean we can, that doesn't mean that we can't be clever about how we present. But what I'm saying is, this is where you come from, people. You are the smartest, you are the brightest, you are among the best. And whether you know it or not, and you only would know from your family and community, because the schools don't teach that. Right? The schools don't teach that. So you would only know from your family and community. You need to know how strong you are. And whether I can physically touch you or not, at some point in the day, it's important that you see me walking like George Jefferson. Because you have to thank Irv Gotti. When you walk in the room, you got to own it. All right, we're coming to the end. 3 minutes left. Idealizing a self-sufficient future. This is always a tough one. But we have to remember that as we go through the process, that is ultimately a goal. It has to be self-sufficient. Because when it's not self-sufficient, well, I don't even need to finish that sentence. When you are not self-sufficient, that means you are depending on others. And I'm not talking about a healthy co-relationship. All human beings have that. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about when you are not self-sufficient in terms of, your work, in terms of your action, in terms of your goals, in terms of your plans, in terms of how you move, in terms of your resources. And we know the challenges that come with it. I don't say that lightly to say, oh, we got to be self-sufficient, because we understand historically and politically the challenge that comes with that. But if we're talking about Afrocentricity, and this is the Delmore Daye Learning Institute that talks about Afrocentric research and education, we can't not address the importance of being self-sufficient. And as I close, the last one, supporting cultural continuity and promoting critical consciousness. Critical consciousness is ever important. But I'll say this, and I didn't plan to say this, but it's on my heart.
Say it.
And it's always, there's always a say it. Hope it is bad. It's never bad. It's always, we have an opportunity as both African Nova Scotian people and our African siblings from the diaspora who are here to continue to work together and continue to collaborate and to continue to know each other and to continue to understand. And I say that in terms of we have to do, and DBDLI is one of those conduits to do that, but we have to be intentional and conscious about doing a better job of being in each other's spaces. We gotta be in each other's spaces. Because the more distant you are from people, the less you know them. And the less you know about someone, they're coming for me. So we have to be in each other's spaces, because the more that you are in each other's spaces, the more we know about each other. And you get the nuance of how things. I'm interested to know about Jamaica from Miss Kay Ann Scott's perspective. I want to know that story. And she's talking about connected to the Maroons, I think her and her husband. I want to know that story. She wants to know stories about here. She acknowledged it before. We have to do that. Because one of the things that has kept us going is, yes, we've had relationships, some healthy relationships from outside of our community, but for the most part, we're all we got. And I don't say that in a negative, bad way, but I'm saying that's the history of who we are. And so it's imperative that we make that conscious and intentional effort about being in each other's spaces, because when you're not, what happens? You make up something. But I don't know, I'm just, as I close, I want to thank everybody for being here. It's beautiful, not just to speak, that's easy. That's what I do for a living. People are like, nervous? I'm never kiss every day. I'm afraid of these people. Don't scare me, like, hit me. It's beautiful to be able to connect with mentors, people that currently work with our young Black people in schools, former students who graduated with their BA in psychology. Yeah, I know. I see them, right? Now, really, Nicole, I was a student teacher when I was teaching Nicole, and Nicole's a grown woman. Right? So, and it's beautiful. Mr. Smith, like, it's seeing people, like, this is what it has to be all the time. Mr. Daye, I gotta show you low, because you say something about me if I don't say something. Talk about me, Gilbert, talk about me. Dr. Susan, my professor for like several classes I know you had, like over time. And so this is important. So thank you very much. And I'm going to grab myself a plate. Thank you.
Yeah, I got it from different stuff. It's just like I spent it in the spring.
So this is one of those times when you get to have the line, and so now we're coming up after that amazing speech.
Yeah.
We thank you so much, so powerful. We felt it, I felt like model color response, right? I felt like model, like we're experiencing together, in terms of our experience with our history. So let me try something with folks. I guess it's called a little bit of trying to read the room. So we do have continual important things to share with folks, right? So you already heard that we have reports that we're going to give you highlights of them in terms of folks. Tom McGowan, we have recognition, so in the board section in terms of folks within the staff team and within the board, and then we still want to work in terms of having your voice. So I've been, buying some time, give you time to get up and grab something and get back in, or maybe your friends who went over bringing you something. Do you think? You think they're thinking about you still sitting here? And get to that. So we're gonna keep going along, and also in recognition, of the time. But again, really kind of want to acknowledge we heard some really powerful words, to hold us and to take us into it. So I'm going to invite, everybody has access to the program, but I'm going to invite folks up for the next part of the section, which is going to be an award presentation. So we'll give folks a chance there. I'm not going to push against the tide. To grab something in, and then we'll come right back in. So if anybody else wants to jump up and really be a collaborator in this process by coming right back, that would be helpful. So we'll just take a couple of minutes, and then we'll keep continuing with the program. Maybe I can give you all some bonus information while the other folks are coming back in. So do you see? So this podium that I'm standing in front of you, I wanted to tell you a little bit about the history of that if you don't know it already. So this is representative of a king's stool, a chief stool, sorry, representative of a chief stool, and it appears in itself in terms of an Antiqua symbol as a standalone, a little bit of a different version than what you see here. And it also is one of the Nagusa Saba principles in terms of Antiqua representation. So, can I do like a quiz? Does anybody know which one of the 7 Nagusa Saba principles that this is a symbol attached to? Feel free. Okay, I'm going to give you multiple choice. It's Nia, Kujichagalia, or Iman. Which of the 3 that I said do you think is the symbol of this chief stool beside when you see the definition of Ancestry? I love that you guessed. Thank you. We can continue to take another. Leah? The one in the middle? Who's Leah? Self-determination. Great. Okay, thanks. So I think we're going to continue. So if I could encourage folks to come back in for this part of the program, see like I have my mic here everywhere I go. Okay, so now we are at awards in the program section. We're going to still have this meter up for folks for a little bit more, and we'll put it back up to get purity.
Yeah, but it doesn't hurt. Yeah, it does.
Okay, everyone online, I just sent you a message as well. I'm saying we're starting back up. So I just a little organizing on my end. And while you're doing that, there's a chance for you to fill that up. Would love to have your feedback. Let me answer one question. Okay, if I could have Randy and Gilbert, and Tanya, and Edward, how about here to the front, please? I'm supposed to say that in the mic, sorry about that. So I'm gonna say it in reverse, just to make it interesting. Could I make Edward and Tanya and Gilbert and Randy please come up? So this part of the program, as I said, is recognition awards in terms of board members who are leaving the board at this time, and also recognition of a staff member. So what we do is recognize staff in terms of a cycle of time that they've been with us. And it's been at other regards of the community events, in that case, it's a cycle in terms of 5 years with DBDLI. Use the mic for everybody. Okay, so I thought I developed a friendship with you all. Someone else not using the mic. Thank you. Yes, so at this part of the program, we're recognizing board members who have completed their time and are leaving the board. And we're also recognizing the staff member at this time who has been with us in the cycle of, it's 5 years in terms of that recognition. So the way that we're going to do this is I'm going to recognize one person, the outgoing board chair, and then I'm going to let him recognize everyone else. And I just all need to give you a heads up is that there's not going to be time for you all to speak. But, okay. So I am going to, what do they say that? It's a mixed thing, like with pleasure, but with sadness. I think to recognize, bittersweet, thank you. Our outgoing board chair and board member, Randy Pedley. If you're able to, you could read what that says. I couldn't. My eyesight, in terms of there, but of course, it's a recognition and appreciation for the work over time that has been done and for the dedication in particularly the role as chair, but also the role as a board member. So thank you very much. Photographers, how do you want? Do you want to just do a collective at the end, or you record it? Okay, then. So I'll pass it on to you.
I've been here that long, I can't read, I've lost my accent. It's really great working and volunteering on this board. I don't even see the volunteering. It's just being here and working in the communities. And when I came, I met this guy, and so I instantly jumped on board because there was already a troublemaker ahead of me, so I didn't have to do much. But Gilbert has been here, and he's done some really good work on the board in the community, and I really appreciate the work that he's done. And so in recognition for his service to the board, also gave him one of those beautiful. You get something different. Better than mine. Could you just stay for the photo op? And then, I just want to recognize Tanya as well. She came in a few years ago, and on this board, it doesn't matter how long you've been here. As soon as you land, there is work waiting for you. Right. And so, in that case, you never get bored. And Tanya just hopped on board. And one thing about Tanya, we did a lot of online meetings. And I'm going to tell you a secret, right? So whenever I say, who's going to do this? If you only flinch, you're it. So Tanya usually turns the camera off. Now, when she's called to do something, she's there, able and willing, and so I really appreciate it. That's the thing. You give me a mic, you don't know what I'm going to say. So thank you for your work.
So for you three, we're not able to have a departing board member here with us tonight, but we also want to acknowledge her, and that is Tia Upshaw. So I have the pleasure of acknowledging our staff member who has been with us for 5 years in recognition, Megan Jones. Money. So manager of finance, and always, I don't know that, I may have to talk about that some more. But always engaged in multiple ways, provided our jumping tonight, and has done that at many events for us. Also has done renderings for Lift Every Voice at our events, so you've seen him in multiple places in terms of demonstrating to, I think what Malik was saying for us earlier, that we see ourselves as community, we see ourselves as family, and we step in and do what we can when we can, and we're there to support each other. So again, thank you very much for your service. And so maybe, so you want to just get a still picture for folks all together?
Can't hold this smile up.
So now we're, again, as you see us up there, just, fill those out, we'll put it up again. And just remind you as well, we'll be doing our talking circle, engagement circle once we finish the reports. And so I'll just have folks come up one after the other in terms of doing the reports. So we'll have the Afrocentric, let's do a little bit different, Brandy, since you're gonna be reading one of them, just pick you up a little bit. So we'll have, human resources menu first, and then we'll have, research, and then we'll have youth, and then we'll have the Afrocentric education, and then the treasurers. So people just want to come one right up after the other in terms of doing that. Appreciate it, so thank you. So, Andrew, we'll start. Now, I need to figure out how to organize and ban myself, and my life is I run hot. Good evening, everyone. Good evening. So nice to see everyone here. Thank you for coming out. I've already been introduced, so I won't say my name. I'm just gonna go right into my report. When spider webs unite, they can tie up a lion. This African proverb reflects the collective strength that comes from clear roles, strong relationships, shared accountability, and coordinated effort. So during the 2025-26 fiscal year, DBDLI continued to strengthen its human resources capacity and support of staff, contractors, programs, and its community-facing mandate. This work was guided by professionalism, accountability, Afrocentric practice, Ubuntu-centered relationships, and care for the people who make DBDLI's work possible. Recruitment was a major priority. Human resources supported full cycle recruitment processes, including job description development, posting, screening tools, interview guides, candidate testing, panel interviews, reference checks, offers of employment, and documentation. 3 permanent positions were successfully filled: e-learning administrator and project manager, finance assistant, which was a part-time position, and research assistant, which was also a part-time position. In addition, 12 independent contractor roles were filled to support key initiatives, including Energy Pathways, the Rural Communities Project, Black Report Research, and multi-year projects. Together We Rise, for example, and addressing anti-hate through education. The Black History in Nova Scotia Book Project, and communications, social media, and project coordination. Human resources also supported the community-based and multi-stage recruitment process of the Director of Afrocentric Education and Lifelong Learning. This important senior leadership role will help guide the operations of learning and education department and support board, departmental, and funder priorities. Organizational development continued through exit interviews, job description development, cultural inclusion training, Atlantic Immigration Program registration, and strengthened onboard and appraisal tools for employees, contractors, interns, students, and co-op placements. What a mouthful. Policy and systems work also advanced. The whistleblower policy and substance abuse policy were finalized. A second draft of the comprehensive personnel policy manual was completed through an Afrocentric lens, while new standard operating procedures and an Afrocentric succession and mentorship program were prepared for rollout. So we will, I don't know if we've officially announced it, but we will be having some training for staff, I think mid-July, to talk about total brain. To talk about our new policy manual. That's it. Thank you so much. Good evening, everyone. Yeah, well, absolutely happy here. My name is Susie Brigham, and I'm Vice Chair of the Board. And I wanted to tell you a little bit about the research that's been going on here. And it's amazing. There's so much happening, but I'm really trying my best to be concise. But I want to start with a very quick proverb, and it says, if your vision is for a lifetime, plant a new leaf. And this proverb really is what the DBDLI's research work has been all about. And I really wanted to acknowledge Dr. George Frampton. He is the Director of Research. I don't see him in the room, but he's around. And of course, Kay-Ann Scott. You have seen Kay-Ann, and she's brilliant and does a lot of work in the research sector. The board members who are involved in this research committee are Randy, Nicole, and myself. Right? I think that's it. Okay, good. All right. So I really wanted to emphasize. It's about strengthening the community voice, and it is about supporting future scholars. We've been building knowledge that is here to build and help African Nova Scotian and Black Atlantic communities shape the policies and systems and opportunities that affect all of our lives. So one of the first things I want to tell you about is the Atlantic Region Black Community Voices Project. This is a 20-month project. It is supported with $800,000 grant investment, and it engages Black communities across all 4 Atlantic provinces, and through community researchers, for youth data fellows, for surveys, engagement sessions, and policy briefs. This is really helping us to establish a foundation for the Atlantic Black Wellbeing Observatory. It is a permanent community governed home for the data, for evidence, and for advocacy. The second thing I want to tell you about is about growing our own leaders, and this is through the Culturally Affirming Mentor Development Series. And this is where 9 mentors have been supported. They have supported 18 youth in the community in the Halifax regional municipality, looking at high school participants in their STEM learning. They've been guided by elders. They have been using a bunch of values, and they've been looking at African Nova Scotian history. And they've been using the ancestry pedagogy. And this program is really about strengthening mentorship and about identity, belonging, and about sharing responsibility. The third thing I want to tell you about, this is exciting as well, is our Legacy in Action Vocal Voice project. And Kay-Ann has been very deeply engaged with this one. It's about the Afrocentric Early Childhood Education cohort at the NSCC. They've created opportunities for future educators to learn directly from African Nova Scotian elders, scholars, and community knowledge keepers. And it was a wonderful event. It's a beautiful event. It's like a showcase that happened in East Preston. And there they were able to do the visual storytelling. They honored some of the elders that were engaged in this activity. And they also showcased their African Nova Scotian learning kits. And really, there was an emphasis on intergenerational knowledge. So the fourth thing I want to tell you about, this is exciting because you would have heard a lot of the announcements by the Prime Minister about AI and the AI policy. This is in partnership with Nelson Winder Elementary School in North Preston, and they've been developing an Afrocentric mathematics learning AI chatbot prototypes. Wow. And what's fabulous about this technology is going to reflect the dignity, the language, the culture, and the potential of Black children, rather than being rather than reproducing more barriers. Just going to wrap up very quickly with a couple of quick more mentions about the DeVoe lecture series that some of you would have attended. That's been an excellent series, and through that, as well as the research, so Research of African Descent Network, and the national and international research engagement that we've been doing, the DBDLI has been continuing to build a table where African Nova Scotian and Black voices are not mere guests, but knowledge holders, knowledge scholars, and leaders. So thank you.
My name is Nicole Morrison. I'm the chair of the I'm going to be really quick, just for your time. I know we're going to be really values but don't want to risk under-emphasizing the work that accomplished this year. Even with the microphone, I didn't be able to speak loud enough. Story I like. So I'm going to be really quick, but just I hope I convey the importance of the work that we are today. So the proverb I have for you is: if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. This year was a really for Afrocentric, culturally affirming spaces for Afrocentric learners in schools, but also outside schools, partnerships with other community groups, whether it is the regional centers for education. There's a collaboration with HRM, as well as Flat House Gather for International Women's Day. And overall, there were more than 200 directly engaged with our youth department.
I can't hear you.
Oh, sorry.
Speak at the mic a little closer.
How's this?
Yeah,
better. Sorry, I could hear myself. There and here.
There we go.
So the takeaway is Antique has been working really hard to get back from mat leave. And there's a lot of exciting things in the works that we'll be looking forward to playing with next year. Over 200 youth were directly engaged with our youth department.
Wonderful.
Work with the intangible connections with youth as well that we've been able to quantify, so that's pretty cool. Our goal is to engage youth across the province. And oh yes, I was just gonna reiterate the collaborations that happened this year with the HRM, the Jack.org, the Regional Centers for Education, and then we have ongoing communications with several universities as well. So that's it for me. And just to say to my daughter, Myra, if you're not getting ready for bed, it's
So I'm going to draw your attention to the screen. It has highlights of what I'm talking about. I recognize the board members earlier. All right, all right, so I recognized board members earlier, and I want to also recognize staff. So many of these reports that we are reading, staff members work tirelessly to put these together, and we ought to recognize their contribution. I also acknowledge the folks online. I just went through much of the evening, and I don't think I looked into the camera there. I want to acknowledge you there as well. For this department, Afrocentric Learning and Communication, I want to acknowledge Lily Lynch, who's done some significant work in this area. flagship event, the African Nova Scotian History Challenge, 20 years, right? And this year, I'm just going so far from my report, this year, the anniversary celebration brought approximately 400 what? People. Brought 400 people together at Mount St. Vincent University to honor students' creativity, knowledge, history, and imagination. And if you stop laughing at me, come on, man. So if you walk through the halls after the African Nova Scotian History Challenge, it's overwhelming to see the amount of stuff, artwork, contribution from students across the province. It says something that 20 years ago, when the idea was presented, we thought it was a good thing to continue doing it. And the children of those children in the past, they, I'm sure parents are encouraging their children to do it because of what it meant to them back then. So it's something we need to continue. And I heard someone say that this is one of the events, one of the activities that it's not only a flagship for the DBDLI, but in the school system, it's one of the only subjects that you're studying for most of the academic year, because you're told about the African Nova Scotian History Challenge, and then you start this project from whenever all the way to February. So the students are learning. Encourage those in your community to continue. Engagements and presentations and school. I can talk about so much that I see Lily doing. The report has a lot of the work that she's doing. In the background, there's a lot more that is happening. But my problem tonight is until the lion learns to write, every story will glorify the hunter. Right. The Afrocentric Learning and Communications Department experienced one of its most expansive year to date across Nova Scotia. The department advanced literacy, Black history education, cultural storytelling, school engagement, and community connection, ensuring that African Nova Scotian histories and experience are taught, celebrated, and carried forward. And so this year, I read that part already. So the department also reached students and communities through school presentation, Black Excellence Based Human Library event, rural engagement in Lucasville and Weymouth Falls, participation in family homecomings and film screening through our videos, our voices, the new coloring our stories, comic book webs, further support youth in exploring family histories and community landmarks through art-based learning. And behind every initiative was a strong communication effort that included newsletters, social media, design, print, external communications, and it says, and community outreach, but I wanted to add my other, and word of mouth, that got the word around. And, I'm so excited. Yeah. And I'm so excited because, many times as board chair, some people get mad at this. As board chair, I'm sitting in my nice quiet spot and someone says, hey, this is happening at DBDLI and you didn't tell me? And so I'm like, oh yeah, I knew all along. Wait. But word of mouth has been very significant for us. When we hear about something, we need to share. But throughout, I want to thank Lily for all of the hard work that she's been doing. and the DBDLI for continuing to provide the support for her to do the work that she's doing. And here I have the most exciting report to present. I can't even say what it is. Finance. All right, so if you haven't had your coffee, you can't. But you gotta get past me because I'm not letting you leave. You might gotta do this. Okay, so where's the finance report? It's not on there? Okay. Little by little, and little becomes a lot. All right. So a summary of our finance report, and I'm going to thank Edward for all the hard work that he's done here. Everybody calls him the money guy, and he does protect the DBDLI's money like a lion. All right. I'm going to give you the dirty the dirty version of this. We ain't broke. All right. However, we ain't got money to give you up. All right. So the clean version is, on all seriousness, the DBDLI has done significantly well with the funds that we have. I think, I sat in the Department of Education, one of our major funders, and they said, and I heard this story, that the DBDLI is one of the only Black-led organizations that we can call in and talk about their finances, because we know that, and it's somewhere in my report, if we had an auditor to go through this and the books are clean.
Okay.
All right? Something to be proud of. Right? Because you walk out there and oftentimes people are saying, I ain't trusting Black people with money. However, the organization has done significantly well in spending these funds or investing these funds into the community. And I can assure you that the members of the board, from the board perspective, we have challenged, we've asked the questions, we have talked about why does this money sit in there when it could be invested there, right? So I want you to rest assured in knowing that the board is also being accountable for what is there, but we do have an accountant who does significantly put together the packages so well that to the end it says here, you're waiting for me to finish. The finance committee met regularly each year. The 2025-26 audit completed by KPMG received a clean, unqualified opinion affirming the DBDLI's financial statements fairly represent its financial position and operations. So I'm jumping all around this report, right? Because I'm reading the audience and see to know what you want to hear. So in terms of funding, we have total revenue increase to more than 2.4 million, which reflects growth in provincial and federal grants, foundation contributions, and other funding partnerships. Expenses also increased as DBDLI expanded programs, fellowships, scholarship, research, and administrative support. Throughout the growth, the organization continued to manage its resources prudently. I'm going to be remiss to say that although we're doing well, it is, we have the oversight to invest the funds relatively well. We still do need to acknowledge that there is still room for growth. We're stationed in Halifax, but so many communities could have a DBDLI in their communities as well. And, if I might look into my crystal ball and project what will happen, or look into the future, I would hope that we will consider investing in our communities, the kind of work that we're doing here in Halifax, so that the rural communities can also experience some of this. And I might end by saying, this is the best financial report you've ever heard.
I think someone else is supposed to tell you that.
William, am I inviting you up beside me? Are we at the talking circles?
Are we at the?
Yeah.
Yes.
So while Willie's coming, and so this is an important piece for us. I know it'll be like a little stretch and move a bit time for you all as well. I'm really looking for that engagement. But just to say, in terms of the structure, I'm not talking circle, but structure of how we have board committees, which work collaboratively with staff team in terms of how these reports. So that's how they're kind of shaped around, and we continue to find ways to be most engaging and yet not miss being informative. And so we keep finding, working to that right balance. But do want to acknowledge, as everyone has, it's a team, folks, our accountability is operations to, activate the ideas that board governance has given to us in terms of leadership and this modeling about how we try to do these things together. So that's the way we have the process in terms of presenting our reports.
Yep.
Okay. Going on. Thank you.
She's handed it to the introvert, so at least with that, that it's not going to be very long. And I'm here talking to all of you. But thank you for all of you being here and being present. I, for one, I went to Citadel. I see Malik walk in the hallways in that way. It's really inspiring to hear his words and to be able to imbue ourselves with the knowledge that comes from within ourselves, that comes from our ancestors, that's in our blood, that's in our DNA, that's proven. And that also that continues to resound in the work of legacy makers like Mr. Delmore, Daye, and the individuals in this room, Irving Carberry, Virginia Hinge, yes. And so I really want us to get talking together. We've been speaking a lot and sharing a lot with you tonight, but how can we come together and have dialogue and be able to share and exchange a little bit? So if you will permit us for maybe about 15 minutes, we have a few questions. And I think we should start with the first one. And we should maybe not spend any time on the others for now. The first question is, in a talking circle is where we come together, usually in a circle, but I think we can stay in the configuration where we're at, to bring together everyone in equal arrangement so that we all feel at the same level to each other. So that's just the basic of what a talking circle is. It's just chatting, it's having dialogue. In Jamaica, it's called grounding sessions. And I'm sorry if that's wrong. Is that right? Okay. And also known as Imitaba in South Africa. So these are all the same principles, and we have them at our kitchen tables. We have them outside with each other. And so the question I thought we could focus on was, what have been the most significant positive changes in our African Nova Scotian communities in the last 5 years? This is a chance to speak about the successes and people that are doing great work, because we know that there's a lot of work that we have left to do. And one thing that Marcus James says a lot from next door at 902 he was my librarian at the North End Library when I was growing up there. And he says now, if we serve African Nova Scotians, we bring everyone up. So let's talk about that work that has been in service of African Nova Scotian communities. Who are those people? What are those positive changes that we have seen in the last, say, 5 years? Unless you want to go and choose one of the other questions instead. And it's really just an open dialogue. So who are those community members doing that great work? What is it that we need to call into the space to be able to acknowledge the things that they've been doing very well? And how is it that we can celebrate them in this moment?
You want to answer?
Yeah. Yes. Let's put that down. So If we can exchange.
Well, there's a lot of people that are doing a lot of good. There's different organizations, and one that I'm involved in, and Linda's involved in, is the Road to Economic Prosperity, in which we're out into the African Nova Scotia. We're not out into, we wait to get invited into African Nova Scotia communities to see how we can assist with economic development and board development in their community. Our philosophy is by us, for us, with us. We don't push anything onto anybody. Okay. We don't force anything onto anybody. We wait to be invited in. And we've had the pleasure of working with Beachville in terms of expanding their boundaries. We've had the pleasure of working with Upper Hammonds Plains and bringing together the community along with the HRM, the planners. There's a huge issue. There still is. Hasn't been solved yet around zoning and around bylaws within our communities, which have for the last 100 years have restricted our community's growth economically. It's a known fact that intergenerational wealth is generated from land ownership. So, with that being a fact, in the case, you have to ask yourself the question, why is there not wealth within the African Nova Scotia community when we've been on land for over 200 years? So you have to look at things like bylaws, things like zoning. What's different in our communities? Well, when we looked at Upper Hammonds Plains, they had one zoning, and it was a wild, wild west zone. You could do whatever you wanted, whenever you wanted, out there. And what was happening as HRM is growing, they were growing into Upper Hammonds Plains. And developments were coming in there which was totally against the nature of the community. So we brought them all together, and the community of Upper Hammonds Plains decided what they wanted for zoning in their own community. We take a look over in the Prestons, in East Preston, Cherrybrook Lagoon, and the restrictions of the bylaws in terms of economic development was around a store, owning a store in your own community to be able to serve your community. Well, it's not quite that simple. You don't just build a building and put a store in. And the existing bylaws and the existing codes made it very, very difficult and expensive for our communities to develop in that way. So we're want to work with communities to make them aware of these things so that we can get a change, and get some positive change. Because with change supports change. Whether it's a negative change or positive change, we have to ensure that it's positive change so that it can continue to grow. So that's one group that's doing work there. And I must say that Virginia's with us this evening, and as a new counselor, her support for these initiatives has been immeasurable. Virginia has opened her office to the community, and not just in her own district, but any of our communities, to use her office and the resources available to address issues. So a change in a counselor makes a huge difference. I look at the work of 902 Manor and the work they're doing in terms of working with the homeless African Nova Scotian population. Marcus James, who came out of the community, out of North Branch Library, and started that. And from there, they realized, well, hey, here's another opportunity for us to start another business. We'll start our own security company. Because these centers need security. So we're not gonna go hire Paladins. We'll start our own security company and provide that service. And now they're providing it not just for the centers, but also if you go into the hospital, Black Ops is in the hospital. So they're growing it, right? So it's about economic growth. So over the last 5 years, I've been around here a long time. I was here for the civil rights movement, in the marches on Buddington Street, in the marches at the police station to bring about change. But the changes we were fighting to bring about were so obvious, so very obvious, human right changes. But now it's gone beyond that. It's about substantive, sustainable, real change, and that's economic development. If I'm economically independent, I could care less what your political views are. I could care, because I'm independent. I'm independent. But as long as I'm dependent upon you to provide me with my income, I have to be concerned. So there's that 902 man up. There's even within HRM itself, the North Branch Library. North Branch Library is getting ready to go through a transformation. They're finally going to invest in North Branch, but they're doing it with the complete involvement of the community in terms of what the community wants to see there. So when you look at, okay, well, we want economic development, we want, what are some other areas of economic development? How about the arts? How about music and dance and theater? Right? That's economic development. And we are not short in that area. So what can a public facility like North Branch do to assist us in that and help, what's his name in UMass Square, runs the studio. Right, here's a guy that's been in the trenches forever. So now we have an opportunity to provide some resources for SOBAS to continue his work and expand it. So there are some really good initiatives that have happened in the last 5 years. And of course, the Delmore by Daye Center, which is centered right here. And you have DBA, which is up on the corner, can't forget. And we have Hope Rooms. They're on TV now advertising Pete's from TV. They're there, right? So there are some really positive things, and Malik in his address to us this evening, I think addressed it very, very well on what we need to do in terms of moving forward in Afrocentricity. And I'm gonna step out on a limb, and I'm gonna say that we here in the diaspora, a conscious diaspora, probably put more emphasis on Afrocentricity than they do on the continent. I'll say that because on the continent, they're just surviving. They're still dealing with those colonial powers who still want to take all the minerals, take all the resources, and give them nothing. But here, right, we've had the opportunity to have the education. We've had the opportunity to sit around and talk about it and develop our own Afrocentricity within our organization.
I think we have a lot to be thankful for and a lot, that I see
I'm seeing the brotherhood, I'm seeing the sisterhood, I see us coming together. It's so amazing how we are supporting each other. Now, this is something that I didn't think I would see, to be honest with you, but we are literally getting out there, we're supporting one another. Everything I said, everything that I was thinking.
Yeah, but you sound so much better.
Oh my God, Wendy Lee. Oh my God. Done a few documentaries, Wendy Lee and what's it? Oh my gosh. Yes, the action, just action, just food action program. Yes. Oh my God, Trina Morton in the community land trust. She is doing so much with Susie Hansen. I mean, this is my first term in, but I will have to have her, to call her as a friend and to doubt on her whenever I need to. So, I mean, literally, our community is growing and we're thriving. Africville is Africville Heritage Society, everything, they're growing. We have a foil, what is it, foil ship for the kids? They're getting in the boats, they're foiling, they're doing all those things. The marina, yes. So there's so much happening in our community. So, I'm gonna pass it on.
All we need is for HRM to give us our land back.
We're working on that. You're working
Allow
on
us economic development on that.
that. Exactly.
That's the last piece of the puzzle that needs to be put in place. To bring Eddie's trailer back.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, in terms of, you heard me, in terms of time, but I did want to ask folks, did you want to just like popcorn, what do they say that, put out there? For number 4, DBDLI in collaboration with other organizations decide to organize an event series, what would you like to see? Inviting guest speakers, elder sharing, whatever. So this throws out some ideas about what is anything that's been sparked from what you heard we're doing already, what we've had in these conversations and things. We'll just have a few minutes of this and then we will close on your time.
Well, I might as well mention while I'm here, DBDLI, HRM, and this organization called Community and Race Relations Federation. We are having an 8-week program at the municipality for our African Nova Scotia students between the ages of 18 and 30 to come in for an 8-week program where they will be getting paid to see what the municipality is all about, see how we work, I want to see our African Nova Scotian kids in those spaces. Because again, yes, there's only a few of us there right now, and we need to continue that to grow. Because you never know what the next term may bring, and we may not be in those spaces. There's only 2 of us. So I just wanted to let you guys know that, and again, hopefully this is a pilot program, but I'm hoping that it will continue on year after year after year after I'm long gone.
I enjoyed Antifa, Stan. Antifa?
Yes, Antifa over there. Yes, she is an amazing person. She's helped me organize all this. Again, Tracy Jones Grants also helped me organize this. This is something that Nicole Mosier helped me organize this as well. I'm so happy that this is the reason why I put myself in office, so that I could bring these programs to light. Because again, we need to bring our kids along, and it's the what is it? The African Nova Scotia Municipality Fellowship Program is what it's called.
And that is it, because I don't give yourself enough credit. She keeps calling it the HRM program, but this is, from that side, is all Virginia, 100%. So.
Here we go. And the great thing is they're paying the kids.
$25 an hour. $25 an hour.
Where's the application?
Also, one thing that I really enjoyed is when we brought the community in. I remember my niece who has a mixed heritage, but was able to come here, and we as elders were here to show her what community looked like and what it was all about. And I think we need that. We need the youth and we need the elders. We need everybody in between to come together. And especially around food, we do well.
Certainly. So I was thinking about the first question. Good evening, everybody, first of all. Great to be here always. I was thinking with the first question, that's been a significant positive change in the last 5 years as well. So I've been blessed to be the program coordinator for the Afrocentric Bachelor of Education cohort at Acadia University in partnership. And when I say partnership, I mean everything that Malik spoke about earlier. It's beyond leadership, and it really is in partnership. To go up to the front, okay, sorry about that. In partnership with DBDLI, who they have been they've given above and beyond anything we could have ever imagined, and everything that we need, they find a way to help and support the 11 students. So we have 11 students in this Bachelor of Education, Afrocentric Bachelor of Education program. Now, you might say 11, that doesn't sound like many students. Last year, I would have gone through the whole spiel to say that since I've been teaching in the BED program at Acadia, I have not seen 5 Black students. I have taught hundreds of students since I started in December of 2021. I actually didn't see my first group until the summer of 2022, so that can tell you the short span of time I'm speaking about to not have seen 5. And we have 11 in one cohort. 11 in one cohort, and those 11 span HRCE. So there are 7 in HRCE, there are 3 in the ADRCE, and there's 1 in the CCRCE. And there are quite a number of additional folks that we made room for folks who did not have the prerequisites to get in. And I call it the Afrocentric Pathways cohort because we have a number of people, I call it on standby. I know in the old days you used to be able to go, just take the chance and go to the airport and hope you get on a flight, right? And so there's some folks on standby, and we're waiting on institutional change and policy change to make a way for these folks. And in the meantime, we're doing what we can do in partnership with DBDLI to make sure that they get these prerequisite courses for their teacher certification requirements to be able to get into a program anywhere. It doesn't have to be Acadia, but we just want to help them to get on. So they are in this cohort of 11, and we use community space. They have often had classes right here in this space. They will be meeting here again, I guess, in a few weeks at Acadia University. We've been in Beachville in the church, in the basement of the church. We've been in Upper Hammonds Plains, in the Upper Hammonds Plains Community Center, and we travel around the province. We've been in Gibson Woods as well to have class, because the community, we learn from community. The community is our classroom, and that's what we believe and that's what we model. And so we are at the half-year mark. These students are in a 3-year program. We're at the halfway mark. And it has been an absolute joy for myself, also Dr. Martin Morrison. We've also served as university advisors, visiting these students and supporting them when they're out in their practicum.
So I had the pleasure of visiting in Joseph Howe, a student at Joseph Howe, in Rocking Stone School. A number of students, and what is that in New Glasgow as well, and seeing the diversity of students in these classrooms. And the students are so happy to have our students, our pre-service teachers, before them as teachers in these classrooms. Sometimes they're the only Black teacher in schools where they are. So we've also had an opportunity to partner with, have Black teachers serve as associate teachers. Black teachers, when we called them up and said, you know, would you mind serving as an associate teacher for one of these 11 who are coming into their practicum, whether it was practicum 2 at that time or practicum 3, and they have said, you know, if I'm allowed to do it, I've never had an opportunity, no one has ever asked me. And so this Afrocentric cohort is really a gift that keeps on giving in ways we did not even imagine at the beginning. We saw it as being for community, by community, with the community members being the students and giving back and eventually representing our communities in schools around this province. But we didn't even imagine that we're also giving back in providing opportunities to Black teachers who've never been given these service leadership opportunities that others are always given, right? Why not them? Why not them? And it's past time. And then also even to hire. So we've been able to hire Black teachers, African Nova Scotian professors. And I don't care what the university calls them. When they step into the Afrocentric cohort, they are professors, so-and-so. That is how we acknowledge them, and that is how we honor them. To speak about the knowledge that they bring, which is rich and powerful, and we can't get it anywhere else. And so it's been a joy to even be in interviews, to interview in a different way. And I don't know about you, I've never been in an interview where I've had folks say in the interview, you know, I would love to teach in this cohort, but if not me, please give it to somebody else. If you find somebody, you can give it to somebody else. You know, I'm like, what is this? This is Afrocentricity in action, in an interview. You will never hear that in another space where the person you're interviewing is saying, yes, I know I can do this work, but you give it to somebody else. It is unheard of. So it is to be able to be developed myself as a leader as I walk through and learn from in tandem with awesome people like Lois, Sylvia, others who support the work. Taylor Tolliver, who is our administrative program assistant, who is from the community of East Preston, who has gone through the BED program, not in the Afrocentric cohort, but who has been, my right-hand person throughout since the beginning and is amazing. She will be an amazing teacher in a school someday as well, but she's been able to walk alongside and let the students know and say, Dr. Kesa, this is what you need to make sure they have. This is what you need to make sure they know, because I was here just last year, right? I wasn't there last year. She was. So you see how the knowledge is coming from every direction to these students and from them outwards to community. It is a beautiful thing. So when you see them, if you hear about the Afrocentric cohort, please do me a favor and encourage them. Let them know that you heard about the Afrocentric program. We use the abbreviation ABC not to diminish their work, but I think about the Jackson 5 song, ABC. It's the easiest. It could have been done a long time ago. It could have been done a long time ago. It's not difficult to do it. Institutions have made it hard. Institutional racism and systemic racism, institutional systemic anti-Black racism has made this difficult. It is not difficult. And the knowledge has always been in our communities. And it's about time that there's space for this knowledge to rise to the forefront. So, Sylvia, thank you for I don't know why you gave me the mic. I can talk about but thank you very much. And thank you, DBDLI, for the work that you've done again. We can never thank you enough. We have a year and a half to go. Yeah, so if you can support us in any way, and we also bring in community knowledge keepers into the classroom, we want to see you, we want to hear from you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. And thank you for your patience of staying on and sharing. So this is the close of our program. You know, I feel like I want to say that line, you know, you don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. But I'm not saying that line, because you can hang around. We have to do some tidying up and stuff, so we'll let you keep the chair you're sitting on. Welcome to the New Horizons Choir. Folks who have come in. Lovely to see people that we know and have friendships and welcome in here, so thank you so much for that. I did want to, I'm looking around, I just wanted to say, is there any board member that would like make any closing comment? All good there? Okay, well, thank you again so much. Just wanted to make sure I haven't missed saying anything about, we need you, so you can check our online for the updated book, which will be also available in print. So if you can send an email into myself or contact at dbdli.ca with your address if you want to send to you, or you can write it up there before you go. Yeah, I think there's not anything that is just, thank you so much.
And that stream.